Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a new Disney documentary from Leslie Iwerks is coming. The 70th is winding down at the resort.
D23 is just around the corner. New Marvel-inspired merchandise arrives. We talk about our updated Disney stories and more.
DL Weekly starts now.
Greetings aboard the DL Weekly Orbiter. For your safety, intergalactic regulations require that you remain seated with your seatbelt fastened, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast. And please, watch your children. To make Tage and Teresa fly higher, pull back on the control lever in front of you. To descend, just push the control lever forward. Thank you. Please enjoy your spaceflight.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of August 5th, 2026. I'm Teresa Urban.
I'm Ryan Phelps.
And I'm Tage Bushman.
Signing off for his final official DL Weekly episode. This is a big one. Episode 450 and Tage's final episode with
450 episodes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought we ever would have gotten to 450?
I know.
If only I would have held out like another year, we could have made it to 500.
Well, we would like to thank everyone who supports the show. This week, we would like to give a special shout out to Lynn B., David VC, Chrissy A., and Michael C. If you'd like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, access to our supporter-only chat, and a bunch of other fun perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now, let's get to the news.
Dateline DL Weekly. Fiction becomes fact as the mysterious subcontinent reveals a legendary podcast. After 2,000 years, two hosts have been unearthed by famed archaeologist Dr. Henry Indiana Jones. Scholarly research laid the groundwork for Jones's discovery. Thus, the jungles of DL Weekly become the destination for listeners worldwide. And what a destination it is! Until next week, this is Eye on Breaking News.
Disney has released the first teaser for Disney World Builders, a new Disney Plus documentary from the filmmaker Leslie Iwerks that explores how Disney stories become theme park experiences. The documentary will premiere at D23, the Ultimate Fan Event, before making its streaming debut on Disney Plus on August 20th. It features interviews with creative leaders from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Imagineering. It also includes behind-the-scenes look on how attractions are created and previews of future Disney Parks projects currently in development.
So I watched the trailer for this, and this looks pretty good. It's got it seems like it's going to cover quite the range of things. It looked like from parts of things, they're going to have James Cameron is going to be there talking about things like Avatar. It looks like we've got stuff from the director of Frozen? I think was part of it.
Jennifer?
Yeah. So she was part of it because they're talking about like the frozen lands overseas. We've got some stuff that looks like it was from Avengers Campus, the expansion that's going on. So it looks like we have a lot of things. There was some Bob Iger that looked like he was in the desert of Abu Dhabi. So maybe we'll get some information about that. So this looks like it has a lot of stuff. Of course, Teresa and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, that there's a lot of rumors online that like, oh, maybe this is scheduled to be premiered at D23 after the parks panel, and it's coming out like after that. So maybe there's like little Easter eggs that like, you know, if it released before, like it would like tell us stuff or whatever. And so who knows, but it'll be interesting. I do think the timing is kind of cool, but I'm excited for this one. And the fact that Leslie Iwerks just had Disneyland Handcrafted felt like it just came out not that long ago.
She's a busy lady.
And then
just
she
a few
was
months.
popping this. Yeah. So what do you think, Ryan?
I'm excited for this. I was saying in our Discord chat, I didn't realize, I might have just missed it, that it was actually premiering at the Ultimate Fan Event. I knew we had some discussion about it, but didn't know that it was actually going to be shown there. So sometimes it's hard to get all this D23 info when they're releasing it in chunks. And
Yeah, no, I agree. Ryan, I honestly thought I thought this was her presenting about the new documentary, which we didn't even know there was a new documentary until this panel popped up on the schedule. So then to find out, oh no, she's actually premiering the documentary at D23 was like, there was just so many levels of like, well, this is exciting. It's like, oh, like the excitement just kept building. So I'm sure maybe there are things that are little like teasers or Easter eggs, especially with all of the crazy fans that are the people that go to D23, ourselves included, that we would spot. And that's maybe why like Tage was mentioning, that it's, towards the end of the weekend and it's happening after the parks and experiences presentation, or it has nothing to do with anything and that's just when they had time in the schedule.
Disney fans love to read tea leaves, whether they actually mean anything or not. But that's part of the fun, right?
Part of the fun.
Trying to figure out. My other fandom that I'm interested in is Apple stuff. And every time Apple puts out like whenever they announce an event, their invite is supposed to give clues to things. And so people are always like, ooh, it looks like this. I wonder if this relates to this thing that has been rumored. And then sometimes you get the announcement. And you're like, that had nothing to do with it. It's just they wanted to make it look pretty. So
we'll
see.
I didn't look at the schedule and when the premiere actually is. Is it? Did you notice that on the schedule, Teresa? Is it during a time that we can actually try and see it, or is it scheduled against?
It's one of the things that I think we all put our selection on.
Oh, did we? Okay.
I want to say it was Sunday morning. Don't quote me because I don't Sunday morning. Don't quote me. I don't have the thing up. So basically, if we were to get it, or if we do the standby, we would get to see that and then go to the Legends ceremony and then spend the afternoon doing other things back at the convention center.
Look, Kate put it in for her number one for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
There's so many things.
I can't remember what I put down.
I know. So many fun and exciting things on the schedule that, I couldn't tell you what all I put in at this point either, even though we did this together and I'm still like, because it's just, I don't know. I was talking with Michael Vargo at the Mouse Meet last weekend and kind of like razzing him a little, like, there's so many good things and they're all at the same time for me. And he, was joking. I'm like, you know what? We're just leaving it to the like reservation gods on which panels we get selected for, and that'll just make our choices for us, and then we don't have to make those hard decisions ourselves.
See, I feel like previously, so I didn't put it, obviously I'm not going this year, but like previously, Kate is saying this, like I mostly just pushed some random buttons. I feel like that's
hoping
kind of
for the best.
Well, you just click things because in the moment you're like, oh, I just want to. I mean, I guess it's not because it's a lottery now instead of like you got to try to get in there before other people.
We had a whole week to do this though, too.
Yeah.
So there was. We tried to have a method to the madness, whether or not we did or not, I don't know.
But
I think go ahead.
I was going to say, and I still managed my first choice. Kate or somebody pointed out to me I'd chosen something that was during the parks panel.
One of the panels, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it all straight.
I will say, though, from our experience of going to the event 3 times now, there really isn't, like, no matter what you get, you're not going to be disappointed. Like, they do really good. Everything is good. You know what I mean? So we've even, what was it? We went and saw, was it the first year? We went to like was it the Disney Channel or I don't know. There was some weird thing and it was so good.
Yeah, that's right. There was one that was not really on our radar and it was great.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
We got to see the Muppets at that one and
That's
John
true.
Stamos was presenting.
Yeah.
Tim Allen was there for some reason. It was like Disney Channel.
Because they were doing
stuff.
they were doing the Santa Claus TV show or whatever.
Disneyland's 70th anniversary celebration is coming to an end. The happiest celebration on Earth will officially wrap up on August 9th, bringing an end to the special entertainment, decorations, merchandise, and food offerings that have celebrated Disneyland's 70 years of magic. While these activities are coming to an end, Paint the Night Parade and Wondrous Journeys fireworks have been extended to August 20th, with Halloween time arriving at the parks the following day.
You know what's weird? I feel like we've been in this time vortex that the 70th feels like it just started, but also has been going forever.
Forever?
Yeah, like it just feels like, so I was just thinking, man, it feels like the 70th just started because I remember going and we saw the Walt animatronic and we hung out with Terry Hardin and stuff that day. We did the key to Disneyland and everything.
That wasn't even the first time we experienced the 70th tag.
Right.
That was Disneyland's 70th anniversary.
But I'm just saying, like, it just seems like all of these things didn't seem like that long ago. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, but I feel like some of this stuff has been around for a long time. I don't know. It's one of those things. Time has no meaning.
I'm super curious because one of the big things that I kind of forgot was part of the 70th that just in my mind just has kind of morphed into becoming a part of Disneyland is the key to Disneyland, and then also the little tickets that you could use your Magic Band and go around the park to get the souvenir tickets. Like at the cinema, there was one for the train station. There was a fun little thing over in Autopia. Like those were all 70th things too. So all of those things will be getting phased out. I'm curious if we'll see similar things come back in the future, because I feel the key for sure wildly popular, which I remember talking about that when we first reported on it, thinking, yeah, but how many people are going to do this? Because it was not an inexpensive souvenir to go do. And then joke was on us because the collectors were buying them like 10 at a time. So it was wildly popular, whether it was the pins that were the popular thing or the experience itself, maybe a little bit of both. But I'm just kind of curious to see what they do next.
I guess it'll be hard with them phasing out the Magic Bands too, because all of those souvenir tickets was you got them by tapping your Magic Band, right? So
yeah, it's true.
They're going to have something else, because I like those little touches. It's sort of a little fun keepsake. So maybe there's some way they can integrate it with the phone or something like that, so you can still have those little moments.
I wonder if Disneyland is going to adopt kind of what Disney World, because when James and I were at Disney World this last week, we went to Epcot for one day, and they have a thing that Disneyland doesn't, which is you can add your park ticket to your Apple Wallet, and you literally don't even have to go in the app. You don't have to like double tap like you're paying or anything. You literally just put your device up to the Magic Band reader, and it would like, your ticket would show up, and then it would like sparkle, which I thought was cool, because I was like, oh, I didn't even know that like developers could do that on Apple, and it like sparkled and it just let you in, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And it was the same thing for people that were getting like lightning lanes and stuff like that. And so I wonder if they're going to keep some of these touch points, because like the Disney World 50th statues that they had all over the place, those still exist at Disney World, and they are things you could wave your Magic Band at, and they make noise and do different things. And so I almost wonder if some of these things, like there's that pretty elaborate one that was in Fantasyland that has like 4 stations.
Yeah, that one's cool.
And then the one in Frontierland too that has all this stuff. So it's kind of one of those situations of like, people liked this, maybe replace the cards that you get, or maybe take out the cards ones, but keep the ones that just like activate, and it doesn't even have to be about the 70th. It could just be some like whimsical thing in the park.
Yeah, I'd love it if it was with the phone. If everything could just be integrated, I don't mind. I liked my Magic Band, but if it could just be on the phone, or even better on the Apple Watch, that would really work for me.
Well, the phone, if it could be the phone and somehow like with the app, then that opens the door for so many more guests to be able to enjoy it,
Yeah. I'm just sad because there's no reason that I feel that Magic Band, like in my mind, Magic Band should have been so popular at Disneyland, because you have all the locals who go all the time. So they would just theoretically buy a Magic Band, and then they have it every time they go, as opposed to Disney World, where there's a lot of like first time or international visitors who buy it. But I think why it didn't work at Disneyland was they just never bought into, like, the company never bought into it, because there wasn't a lot to do with it. And then they did do it a couple years ago when they brought it there, but then like they never expanded it. I don't know. I was just very sad, because when we experienced it at Disney World a few years ago, it was really cool. Like you'd be in queues for things and it would say your name. And when you were leaving like Small World, it'd be like, adios, Tage and Teresa or whatever. And like, that was really cool, because it like personalized the experiences for you and made it really immersive. But that never happened at Disneyland. So,
well, the other thing I think, and this is me not being a local, just me thinking if I were a local, is a lot of locals kind of use the park much differently, right, than
That's
like
true.
a vacationer does. Whereas if you're going to Walt Disney World, you're in the bubble for the few days or week that you're there. So, and it's constant. Like you're wearing it as though it's just your accessory for the week. But as a local, you're kind of doing like partial, like not full days at the park. It's kind of more just sporadic.
Sure.
So then it's just having to remember, right, if you're local, does your Magic Band live in your car so that you can grab it when you need it because you're going to the parks for dinner tonight? Do you just constantly wear it? Like, I feel like maybe having it as the accessory when you're a local was a little bit more cumbersome
Sure.
than when you're like, for us, we were just there to do Disney. So that was part of the morning routine. Put your watch on, put your magic band on. Whereas I could see maybe if I were local, that'd be a little funky.
I could see that. Yeah, because leaving it in the car and stuff, you don't get the added functionality of it like lighting up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It still works because because James and I, when we went to Epcot, it didn't charge right. So neither of us had a charge on ours. So like when we were trying to use the statues, because it didn't have a battery charge, it didn't do that. But it let us into the park and stuff. So anyway. Well, in just over a week, Ryan and Teresa will be there. The D23 Ultimate Disney Fan Event begins. Of course, that's on August 14th. The Anaheim event will feature expanded show floor hours, more than 50 panels and presentations, and 3 major nighttime showcases at the Honda Center, including the Disney Experiences Showcase, where fans could get a look at what's next for the theme parks. The event will also include D23 Day at Disneyland Resort, a new Walt Disney Archives exhibit, and the return of fan favorites like the Masquerade costume contest.
So, Ryan, I'm dying to know, this will be your second Ultimate Fan event.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that you're looking forward to the most out of this weekend? Now that you kind of know what to expect, because you've been through it once before, what are you looking forward to?
I think that there's a couple things like the show floor, because I don't think I did the show floor very, very well last time, because I kind of wandered aimlessly and was slightly shell-shocked the entire time. So I think
Fair.
Now that I've got a better idea of what's going on the show floor, I think I'm better equipped to have a look at the stuff that's going on there. My number one event that I'm hoping that we get selected for the random selection process is the Alan Menken concert.
Yeah.
Sunday evening. So that's going to be my number one. So I don't know if we don't do that. I want to go see if we can get the standby queue. But it's also at an awkward time because it's after the Legends panel. But the Legends panel is earlier this year than it was last fan event. So it's like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'd have to get there, over, and then back again to see that one.
Yeah. They released the event map just like within the last week or so. And this has been so interesting to kind of watch how the show floor evolves year after year after year. Because the first year, we've been to how many? 3? Okay, so the first 2 that we did, half of the show floor was actually different. Like
outside vendors.
No. Well, that too, but I was going to say a lot of the show floor was actually stage area, because remember,
that's true, yep.
They have the big main stage, because again, we didn't have the Honda Center until last year, so the big panels were happening in the Anaheim Convention Center. So it's been really interesting to watch this space continue to like grow and fill out. Now it looks like the floor itself is where all the things are happening, whereas like second floor, third floor, and then the north 200 level is all where the big main stages are. So I just can't even wrap my head around how this massive space here is just going to be show floor things. Like I just can't. And like looking at this map, there's a lot of shopping, so people that are fans of shopping are going to be super, super excited. But like I'm a little sad. Maybe it's going to be fun, but I feel like Walt Disney Archives had such a large space last year, but they also had a lot of vehicles that their little spot on the map looks a little small. So I'm a little sad about that, but I'm still hoping I know it'll be amazing still, but.
This is fascinating because last Ultimate Fan event, they had the stages, some of the stages upstairs, like some of the rooms that you could go, like the Hyperion stage and stuff like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. There was shopping in
But I also just realized that like, yeah, I feel like some of these stages used to be on the show floor and they've moved that. But then also, like, just looking at the map overall, because they took that, like, market.
Oh, yeah.
The marketplace folks, and they moved that elsewhere. So it's kind of like there's a lot more stuff. Now, what I do think is interesting is they have a whole section that's just Avatar. Yeah. And I'm like, is there really? I mean, maybe they're going to talk about the new experience that they're supposed to be bringing.
Remember,
I don't know.
Last year there was like an interactive Avatar walkthrough experience.
Yeah, so a walkthrough thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It seems like there's going to be a lot more interactive elements on the show floor. Like there was a lot last year, but it seems like there's last last expo, but it feels like there's going to be even more this expo. Because, like, look at Disney Plus Hulu. You've got 2 different giant footprint sections.
No,
more than that. 4. There's another one.
Not to mention that not only do they have a Disney Plus section, but they also have stuff that like is on Disney Plus. So like
That's
The
true.
Simpsons has a thing, and like Pixar has a thing,
pretty
and
big
Marvel
footprint.
has a thing. So yeah, it's going to be crazy.
There is this. Okay, so they still have the spotlight stage area, but that's always purposefully bed on the expo floor, because that's kind of more of a, you can stop and kind of pay attention to what's going on. There isn't like a traditional queue for what they have on that floor, but I just the shopping too is just wild to me, because like look at the D23 marketplace, that's footprint huge on that, and then the pin store, massive.
Did you see that they have a big gaming area here?
Oh yeah, they've got the Ravensburger store spot, but then they have a gaming area. That gaming area is bigger than box lunches setup.
That's crazy.
I do have to laugh. The one that makes me like giggle, and they've been talking about it. Hunt's the ketchup brand. They have like a little section somewhere in here. They're gonna have like a sauce experience.
Yeah, my sister sent me the news article when they announced the collaboration between them and Disney, and I was like, that is a strange collaboration.
I need to re-say that. It's not Hunt's, it's Heinz ketchup.
I think, isn't it?
I'm not a huge ketchup fan, that I don't even remember what the brand name is called. Heinz ketchup. That you would be all about that. It's a sauce booth. Tage loves sauces.
Yeah, but I'm not a ketchup person.
It's like I was reading about it. There's like a mix and match, make your own sauce, and like you can try different. I'm so curious about this. It's probably like one of the things. There's an Atari space. Sorry, I need to stop looking at this. They have a Disney
and Formula One space. That's interesting. Yeah, did you see?
I'm so excited for this, though.
So James has been big into like D&D, and the company, I think it's the company that like owns D&D, is Wizards of the Coast, and there's a big section here that's Wizards of the Coast. So I wonder how they're partnering with Disney for some type of role-playing game. That could be cool.
No, I am so curious about a lot of these things. I'm just...
Oh yeah, and the Ravensburger store, they've put way in the back this time. I wonder, because the queue was blocking traffic on the show floor last time. But I also think I think I read that they're only going to be virtual queue this time. I don't know where I read that, but there was a mad dash for all of that Lorcana stuff the last expo.
I'm also curious because we've got other things that I like now that I'm like really zooming in and looking at some of the maps of stuff. I'm just like Crocs. Has Crocs been there before? I don't remember Crocs being there before, but they will be there.
There's a lot. I think
I'm curious about what this thing is. Salon 64. I'm curious what that is too. I wonder if that's like a fun like thing. I feel like I know nothing. This is happening next week, and I'm like,
when do you guys find out what selections you got?
Friday.
Yeah.
So like 3 days from now.
Okay. That's really close to actual event time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited though. Oh, that's what I was going to say. There's pin trading. There's designated pin trading spots on the show floor, which I don't know if that's not something I've noticed before. So that may be new. Anyways, I feel like we could go on and on and on and on and on about this.
Yeah.
And we will over the next couple of weeks. Well, a new Marvel-inspired merchandise collection has arrived at Avengers Campus. The Tage collection is inspired by the Collector's Museum from Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout and features special apparel, accessories, and collectibles designed to look like unusual artifacts gathered from across the galaxy. The collection also includes a special nod to Disneyland history, with the collector adding the legendary Matterhorn Yeti, or Harold as we all lovingly know him, to his collection. The designs feature comic book style artwork, giving the merchandise a bold Marvel-inspired look while celebrating the strange and fascinating items found throughout the collector's collection. Say that 10 times fast, the collector's collection.
I'm really interested in the stuff that's got Harold on it. I really like Harold, so I would like to have a look at that.
I was Tags scrolling through, is that There's another piece of Disneyland history that's in the collector's collection that's featured too. The little, I can't remember her name. She was like a squid or an octopus, and she was part of Country Bears.
Was she really?
Yes.
Dolores the octopus. Oh, yeah. Country, the beach, and Country Vacationer. So, yeah, you're right. That's funny because I don't remember her at all, but I'm glad that you remember it. Yeah, so it seems like they've got a lot of the gnome of gold. So they have a lot of things here. I like some of this stuff. Like, that's interesting. It's like a blank comic book that you can like do something with.
Fill in.
Yeah, that's kind of a neat idea. I like these keychains a lot that have like the different like there's one with Rocket on it. There's one with Cosmo the dog on it. So that's kind of cute.
That is fun.
And picture frame featuring the Yeti with real fur. Certainly not an animatronic.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Who would think that it was an animatronic? Heresy.
Cosmo. Howard the Duck.
Fun.
Very fun. Disneyland has introduced a new system for its popular Pin Tuesday merchandise releases in an effort to curb line cutting and guest confrontations. Guests who arrive early receive a dated ticket that must be surrendered when purchasing limited edition pins, making it much harder for anyone to jump the queue. The change follows reports of pushing, arguments, and other disruptive behavior during recent pin drops, and is expected to be used for high-demand releases like the upcoming Kingdom Hearts pins, with the possibility of expanding to other release days if needed.
I think this is a great idea because they were doing something kind of like this with the like candy canes and stuff at one time. And it just makes sense that if you were to give a physical thing to people, that you're not going to have, people doing the line cutting and whatever. Because all of these things, some of these folks are collectors and they're trying to make sure that they have their full collection. And some of these folks are unfortunately like resellers who are really like, and some of them we've seen in the past already have things posted on eBay and stuff, and they don't even have the merch yet, but like they're like, well, we're going to make sure we get it. So I think, that can make people get those types of people get desperate and be rude and push in line and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate that so many fun Disney things like pin trading, Lorcana card releases have become so popular that it creates these kind of environments that sometimes get out of hand.
No, I totally agree. I'm curious how this works. Maybe we'll have to try and when we're there, see if we can, because I will be there I will be there a week from today. Isn't that exciting? Sorry. I'm curious how this works because do you have to, so the candy canes, they give you get a text and a return time. These, since it's not in any sort of electronic system, it's just the physical card. Do you have a return time that you're supposed to go back? Do you just go right then? Can you go anytime throughout the day and they just have pins set aside? I'm curious how the return part of this works. I like that they're doing the tickets, because then the other thing too is then you're not waiting in a line for who knows how long to then get to the front of it and realize the thing that you wanted has been sold out. So I'm curious what the turn-in process is after you've been issued these tickets.
Well, it's surprising that they're not able to do this digitally if they already have the capability of doing everything like the candy canes or the text messaging or a virtual queue of some sort. So I don't know why paper seems to be the way they went for this. Maybe it was just a trial and they're going to move to something else. But
could be.
It would be easier if it was a digital version of this.
Yeah.
But it's great if it can cut back on anybody getting angry in the line. I'm sure there's 100%. Still going to be people that are getting upset in lines, but it would also be nice. I like you mentioned the people that are just in it to sell, get on and sell. I don't know what Disney can really do about that. There's probably nothing they can do, but I know the Hatbox Ghost popcorn bucket that comes out on next Thursday. I know I saw on eBay they're like Tage said, there's people already selling the Hatbox.
It doesn't even exist yet. How are you? Yeah, how can you post something that you don't even have?
Putting it as a pre-order.
Though,
crazy.
I want to say that if Disney, with stuff like this, if Disney wanted to cut down on some of this, they could. Like when they come to things like limit so many per guest or whatever, a lot of these folks have passes. And so I feel like if they wanted to, they could scan the pass and be like, okay, that was your one. And then next time your pass is scanned, they're like, sorry, you already got one. Or they could start scanning passes so when there is like a problem with people pushing in line or whatever, that those people could be flagged. And then maybe after so many times you get flagged, they cancel your pass and you're banned from the park, because nobody wants to have that kind of thing. And maybe just that happening one time would encourage people to not do this because they don't want to take the chance.
Well,
that's true.
To a certain extent, I don't mind some of the resellers, because I know there are Disney fans all over the place, and they just legitimately can't get to the parks. We're very fortunate. We get to get there as often as we can, and we get a chance to get a lot of this stuff. And maybe there's somebody out there that is really just the biggest Hatbox Ghost fan that really wants that bucket but can't get it. So it's nice for them to be able to get it too, but when it becomes a problem from everybody else, that's when I find it challenging.
But also, I feel like to take that into account, Disney could put more things on DisneyStore.com than they do. Mm-hmm. And I understand that part of it is like, they want people to come to the theme park to be able to get there's business reasons, right? Mm-hmm. But also, like, it would just be nice for your guests and customers to have some of these high demand items also be available online or whatever, so people can get them if they really want them and they don't have to resort to the reseller. But again, I think I've seen lots of arguments online that some people think that Disney is not bothered by it because it creates that demand and everything, and they like that because then they make sure they sell everything and whatever. But I don't know. I can't imagine that somebody at Disney is sitting there wringing their hands at the thought of resellers and stuff. I don't know. It's just unfortunate that we and Teresa has said it a lot of times too with other things that aren't merch, that like the internet connected world that we live in, word gets out about things and then it becomes a problem because people hear about, like, if we didn't have the internet, how would we know that a Hatbox Ghost popcorn bucket was coming out? You wouldn't. You would just show up in the park and be like, oh, wow, they have this piece of merchandise that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And you'd buy it. You wouldn't have people that are planning, weeks in advance and having pre-done eBay ads and everything. So,
you know what, though? The internet is a wonderful place. It's true. In parts, too, because podcasts exist. Things I like. I've been very. We'll get to it. It's part of our Disney story, but just all of the things that we've learned about because of the internet for like Disney specific events. Like it's a wonderful but also not so wonderful place at the same time.
Like anything, right?
Oh yeah.
There's good. Yeah. There's plus and minus to anything.
We have to get the snacks for Tage and Teresa and James and Bern. Oh, and Cinderella. Time for SnackChat.
Well, guess what? My last episode, and what comes back? SnackChat, which we haven't had for a while. This week for SnackChat, we're looking ahead to some of the Halloween treats that are coming later this month. So Disney has revealed new Halloween food and drink offerings featuring spooky treats, themed desserts, and seasonal snacks throughout the parks. This was all revealed in a video featuring Disney legend Bob Gurr and Yvette Nicole Brown as they took a look at some of what's to come. So a little bit different. It wasn't like a foodie guide or like a Disney Eats post or whatever. It was a video. And how cool that Bob Gurr was part of this.
I know.
Because who doesn't love Bob Gurr?
And he cracked me up in the video. I don't know how many people have watched it, but they had to taste the food and then try and guess what the name of the creation was. Oh. And there was Yvette and Bob, and then there was a content creator on there with him. I can't remember his name. But
content creator, I pulled it up right now. Garrett Watts.
Garrett, yeah. Garrett and Yvette were trying to guess the food. Bob just seemed like he just wanted to eat the food and wasn't as interested in guessing the names. But he seemed like he was really enjoying everything that he got. So,
that's so cute. They made it a game. So 5 dishes. They all had to guess the name of the dish. But if they get stuck, they could have had a hint. Bob is just a character.
He's living his best life, man.
The other thing too about this, I know we'll get to the food. Sorry, I know we're very stuck on the video itself. The thing that I find very kind of impressive is this was almost a 15-minute thing that they put out there, and it, again, just to introduce like 5 different dishes. So this is way more like it's like a foodie guide on steroids almost in that sense, because it's way more content than just here's all the cool stuff. I feel like there will be a full foodie guide at some point, because surely there are more than 5 things that they're going to have for Halloween time. But I thought this was such a fun twist. Getting to the food itself, I will start first because it's a cold brew, and we are going to be getting a brown butter maple cold brew. I feel like this is new. I could be wrong because there's been so many cold brews now at this point that have come and gone, but I don't remember this one from before. I did appreciate that they were trying to figure it out, and apparently the cold foam on it is thick. So they were like moving the glass back and forth, and it wasn't like the cold foam was not moving, and it was holding the liquid down, so it wasn't like it was moving. It was very funny to watch. So I'm most excited for the cold brew off of this list. What are some of the things that are piquing your interest, Tage or Ryan?
I thought the I can't say it properly. Bulgogi beef toasted sandwich with corn cheese soup sounded really good. I do like the regular Jolly Holiday special, so this would be really good. I like bulgogi beef, so this would be really good. But I think this looks like a share with somebody size with the amount of meat that looks like that's in the sandwich. I think I'd have to probably split that with somebody. It's
a nice portion, yes.
Of course, I don't think it would be any surprise to anybody that I like the idea of the ube cheesecake churro. This just looks kind of like a Oreo cookie crumbled covered churro with Oreo cookie like chunks, crushed Oreos over the top with the ube cheesecake like piping on top of it. This looks really good, and actually looking at it in the video, it looks huge. Look at this on their plates. Like that, you talk about, Ryan, you're talking about sharing. This looks like one that you would want to share for sure. Also, probably is going to be very sweet, but looks really good.
And I don't think it's going to be one that you're walking down the road having a snack on this. You're going to have to stop and have this on a plate, I think.
Maybe a fork and knife churro.
Yeah, I think so.
The other thing that I would like to mention is the villainous wings that you can get from Smoke Jumpers. It's made with a ghost pepper ranch and gochujang sauce. And from what the 3 taste testers of the video were saying, they all seem to really like this one. And apparently, even though it says ghost pepper ranch, it didn't seem like it was too spicy for any of them trying it. So
Bob Gurr seems to like he's licking his fingers.
Yeah, he was. And I love spicy, so this would be great for me too.
This is great, Ryan, because I feel like I did the podcast a disservice by not liking spicy food. So the fact that there's somebody that likes spicy food, because Teresa, I don't think you mind spicy food.
Not everybody's a spicy food fan, so
but you're not. You don't like go searching out.
No,
spice.
I don't necessarily go searching it out.
No, I like to find spicy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you could do that, because I feel like sometimes, so spice is interesting for me, because sometimes the times that I've like gotten over myself and tried spicy things, it's like a 50-50 chance that half the time it like really adds to the whole flavor. And then sometimes it's just there to like incinerate your mouth. And I feel like all it's there to do is just be hot. And that's not even like enjoyable. But there have been times where like it does accentuate the other flavors and kind of adds to it, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, there's spice that actually has flavor to it, and then there's spice that's just melt your face off. I like
mean.
Yeah, I like it when it's hot, but you can actually get some sort of flavor with it.
Yes.
There's no point in just burning your mouth for the sake of burning your mouth.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Ryan. I like the flavor of spice, not the like torture of spice. But then other people like the torture spice. So, to each their own.
It's true. It's true.
Next week, we're off to Anaheim for a week of Disney magic, including a visit to the parks and D23, the Ultimate Fan event. We're excited to meet up with weekly tiers during D23 Day at Disneyland on August 13th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. at the Petrified Tree in Frontierland. if you'll be in the parks, come say hello. We'd love the chance to say hi.
This will be Ryan's first official meet. Well, this is your first meetup in general, because the other one that you had been able to come to was when we did the joint meetup with Terry, which is kind of just a little bit different than what we had been doing for meetup. So this will be your first official just DL Weekly meetup, and your first official meetup as the new host of DL Weekly with me. So yeah, so Ryan and I are both going to be there, and I'm excited. We've not done a meetup inside the park for a while now, but we figured it'll work best with everyone's schedule that's there trying to enjoy D23 Day. So we hope to see a lot of you there.
We're now approaching Trivia Land, folks. If at any point you smell smoke, don't panic. That's just Tage racking his brain. And if you hear a boom, that's Teresa delivering an answer. Put them together, yep, TNT.
Hello. Welcome to Trivia Land.
Hello.
Are you trying to sound like Patrick from Soren?
Only sort of.
Hello, and welcome to Trivia Land.
I just paid him a visit, in both old and young form, apparently. So
they did a good job of that, because he was like, hello and welcome to Sword over America or whatever, or across America. And then he was like, and now some
safety instructions from
somebody who's like younger and more handsome or something, or his handsome fellow or something. And then it cut to his old self. Yeah, it was great.
That's funny.
It was great. So, well, for my last regular stint of public appearances in Trivia Land, maybe guest appearances to come, I'm sure, I thought I would not only test your trivia, but test your memory of how well you remember where this all began 400 some episodes ago.
For those of you that are watching live, you saw it, but for those of you that are just listening, Tage just shot a look.
No,
over
I shot a look.
Land.
No, I shot a look because James is not talking into the end of the microphone.
Oh,
that's what that
I thought you were shooting a look like, oh no, don't try and make us remember stuff from the beginning.
Yeah, how can you not remember things from August 21st, whatever year episode 45 was? Was that 2018 at this point?
What a fun bookend. That's an accidental bookend for your time in Trivia Land, episode 45 to episode 450.
There you go.
Crazy.
See? Just throwing the numbers in there.
Crazy.
So I got those 4 questions for you. I did add in one more just for my sake. My little shoulder poo for those of you that are watching. For those that are not, I picked up a shoulder Winnie the Pooh at Epcot, and he's here in Trivia Land too with me. So
I asked James if he was going to have serious business meetings at work with the shoulder poo on.
I love it.
Yeah, sits at my desk. Looks great. So we will see how you all do.
Ryan, I'm so sorry that you are being subjected to trying to answer these things.
I'll smile and nod.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when this all began, when Tage and Teresa were like, do this, it'll make us look really smart. And
oh no, Tage. When Tage thought this would make us look smart.
I thought it would give us credibility, but it has done the exact opposite.
Yeah, I still don't know if any of these are actually true or not. So we're just going with it. That's how much I've grown in 405 episodes. So, first question for the 3 of you this week. In the 1997, indeed, that's how good I was at writing. In 1997, Pirates had a refurbishment that recast a pirate. What was he called, and what's his name now?
Okay, sorry. Can you say that one more time?
In 1997, Pirates had a refurbishment that recast a pirate. What was he called, and what is his name now?
Well, that was way before. You said 1997?
1997.
That was way before Pirates movies came out, so it's not going to be any of that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so this is like an original pirate.
And you'd have to know his name.
Yeah.
I
don't think I know anybody's name.
I will give
Carlos?
you a hint.
Did Carlos have a different name?
It is not a true name. It is adjective pirate to adjective pirate. You just have to put in the adjectives.
Ooh, did the Dirty Foot pirate have something else?
And that's a word that describes a noun for those of you at home that need some help with English terminology.
Yeah, but then you have to describe to people like me who don't remember what a noun is.
That is a person, place, thing, or
person,
idea.
Place, or thing.
See, it's amazing that I was able to do this.
So like the Dirty Foot pirate.
Was he the Buckle Shoe pirate before?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Dirty Foot Pirate. I don't know what his name was prior, but that's as good as I've got.
I feel like he's been there forever.
Has it always been a dirty foot dangling, or just a foot
because
dangling?
that's like something
Was
that's
there a
like
sock. Was he a dirty sock pirate?
No, it was seared in my mind forever.
This change happened before my first trip to the parks.
Was it like? Well, because see, I want to think it was like the pig guy or the cat guy. I don't know. I'm stumped, James. Thank you for ruining this already.
You were stumped at the first time you did this too. So
we've answered this
we've
before.
answered this before. Yep. I don't even remember this question either, Tage. Don't worry. Ryan, do you have a guess?
No, my first inclination was a Dirty Foot Pirate too.
Okay.
James,
I'm going to say he was Boots or something before.
James, can you tell us what episode this came from? Like how many episodes ago?
This was episode 45.
Oh, the first one. That's
Mhm.
why.
Yes, this is the beginning of it all. At least when I was tracking things. But I think this was the first one. So
Sure.
yeah, we're going to go with it. Question number 2. How many times a day during a 16-hour operating day does It's a Small World play?
Oh, I do remember this question.
Yeah, I don't remember how many times.
How many
though.
times in a day, you said? Does the
During a 16-hour operating day.
So, but okay, where is the start and the beginning of It's a Small World?
It just really blends together.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. When does it start and when does it end?
I think It's a World of Laughter is considered the beginning of it. So when it loops right back to that, yeah.
if you
Ryan can verify
had the
that.
Disneyland, like they've had it come out on CD and stuff before. I'm gonna say, let's see, 3. I gotta do math now.
I'm gonna say,
It was a 16-hour day.
16-hour day.
I'm gonna say 300 times.
Oh, I'm gonna say 400 times.
Oh, I was going to go way high, like 800. So
Well, you could go 800.
You can go way high.
We may be
I
wrong.
think- yeah, I was going to say 800.
James is gonna come back and be like, it's 3,000 times.
8,000 times.
Well, because maybe it's only a 1-minute song.
It's over 9,000. No.
I think it's like a 3-minute song. Or a
I'm going
3:30.
to change my answer because
Ooh,
now that I was
changing
thinking in minutes, I was just like, I don't know, maybe it plays 25 times an hour. It probably plays more than 25 times an hour. Okay. Well, I don't know.
Well, if it's like 3 minutes, that plays 20 times in an hour.
That is
Yeah.
20 times
16.
16 is 320. So maybe I got to go down from my 800 to say 320.
You're going to say 320?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm leaving it at 400. We're just going to let it be.
Why doesn't this tell me how long it is?
Nope, no cheating, Tag.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that.
gonna be way off.
Final
after
episode,
reading
no
that.
cheating.
I'm gonna be way off.
All right. Question number 3.
My hard thing is the start and the end.
I don't know why
Nope.
that matters. Anyway,
Question number 3. The question you got correct during the first time you
Oh.
asked this.
it'd be really embarrassing if we got it wrong.
And what arguably became one of my shticks throughout this time on the podcast. Rumors say Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen body is housed in what attraction?
It's a small world.
So many attractions.
No, James brings this up all the time that
Yeah,
it's under It's a Small World.
But like, he's in the Haunted Mansion, he's in the castle, like, you name it, he's probably
Yeah.
there.
I say he's in the Walt animatronic now.
Ooh.
That's
He's in the desk.
And I'm
of
very,
the Walt
why,
animatronic.
but okay, why
like
did
Futurama.
the
Yeah.
rumor
Yes.
become that he's at It's a Small World? Like, why that attraction? Why is the place that that's the place folks have assumed? Why the, like,
Probably because it's
rainy day child art project attraction? You know what I mean? I don't.
Because it was been built at Disneyland
guess,
not long
yeah.
after he passed.
well, it was before he passed.
Before he passed, because he was there.
Yeah, he
'Cause
was there.
He poured the.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he poured the waters. Maybe because it was the
The water
newest thing.
Was it the latest? Was it the last attraction that he was at the opening
yeah,
for?
that could be. Maybe that's why. That's
Yeah.
the place that they've picked.
Sure.
Okay, everyone agree with It's a Small World?
Yes.
I'm going to go with the castle,
Oh,
Changing it up.
just to throw a different answer in there.
Okay.
All right. Then question 4 for you. Which attraction is believed to be the most vomit-inducing ride?
Is it the teacups?
Well, that's because I think the key word there is what is believed to be.
Yeah.
So I think teacups
Yes.
is probably believed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone going with teacups?
Yeah.
Teacups.
Because everybody talks about, oh, I get so sick on those.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't go on them with us as kids because it made her sick.
My dad gets sick on teacups as well, so I can feel that. All right, last question for you all for the week, adding in new flavor to the original one in honor of Shoulder Poo here. What order does the side of your vehicle pass the characters in the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh? I am looking for 9 characters that
What
you pass in
order?
the attraction. Yep. So the first one that passes the side of your vehicle.
Oh, no. Is it?
Mm-mm.
I was
It's Rue
originally
in the beginning, right?
I was
'Cause
originally
they're-
ready to
it's the
say
rain
Kanga.
Yeah.
But go for, like, I can't even remember who's the first thing you see on the left because Ruin Kanga's further down. Is it Piglet on the, I don't know, broom or something?
He's an umbrella, isn't he?
Something. He's on something and spinning.
Swirling.
Oh, no. Because Gopher is in that. Maybe Gopher's the first one. Can we get a hint? Can you just tell us who the first one is?
I suppose I can be kind. The
Okay.
first one you see is Kanga.
Told you.
Kanga.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kanga, who's holding on to Rue.
And then I think Piglet would have been next.
Gopher, I swear Gopher's in there somewhere.
Is he?
Kanga, who's hanging on to Rue, so maybe we'll put Gopher in there. And then Piglet. Piglet and Rabbit, right? Rabbit's hanging on
Rabbit.
to Piglet. And then I think it's Eeyore. Owl's got to be in there somewhere, and Tigger's after Eeyore. No, where's Pooh? Where's Pooh in that first room?
Well, Pooh shows up. Pooh shows up when he's sleeping because then he like
In the
spins.
bedroom.
is that the first time we see Pooh?
Mhm.
I think so.
I think so.
Is Owl in the attraction at all? I know he's on the painted thing. I know he's in the birthday scene. Is he in that first? Okay, so Tigger, Pooh, and then we'll say Owl.
You said there's 9, James. That you're trying.
9 characters.
So Pooh and Owl are the
It was
last
a very
two.
busy 100-acre woods.
Yeah, because Pooh comes down out of like a stump at one point, or not Pooh, Tigger.
Tigger. Yeah, he's at the end of that first
Yeah.
one. Is Owl only in the birthday scene?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. So right now I've got Kanga, then Rue, Gopher, because I'm pretty sure he's in that section with them, Piglet, Rabbit, Eeyore, Tigger, Pooh, and then Owl.
Got
Sounds
it.
good to me.
As good as it's going to get.
So yeah, that works for me.
Okay. And then bonus points for Heffalumps and Woozles.
Yes.
Oh, and bonus points for Marvin and
Oh, yeah. It's
Mhm.
Melvin?
Melvin.
Rufus?
Rufus.
Is it Rufus? I don't remember. I can't remember their names.
Melvin, Rufus, and
Is that even right?
No,
Is
it's
it
not
Melvin the Moose?
Melvin is right.
Buck?
Melvin.
Is Buck
Mhm.
like the...
Mm,
No, not Buck.
I don't think so. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
just really into making sure we get these right. So, wow. That wraps up 5 trivia questions. 4 you've heard before. 1, maybe we've heard something similar, but that's what it is. And before we get answers, you all have a discussion topic.
Well, this week is a very, very special week. As many of you know, this is Tage's final episode. In case you missed it, back in the beginning of July, Tage announced to everyone that he would be parting ways with the podcast. Just, we can kind of go into that real quick of the reason why. Basically, just nothing happened. He just simply wants more time back in his weeks. Still loves Disney. He and I are still friends, all that good stuff. But we thought it'd be very fun for this being his final episode is to kind of recreate what our first episode was. You can go back and listen to it, even though for a long time I was very like, I had a thing. I didn't want people listening to it because we were, okay, maybe me, so like nervous and in our own heads. But for that very first episode of DL Weekly, Tage and I shared our Disney stories. And since that was almost 9 years ago, we thought it'd be pretty cool to kind of retell what our Disney stories are and how they've changed and evolved throughout the past 9 years because of this wonderful, wonderful place that we created called DL Weekly.
Also, with Ryan joining, we got to remember that as Ryan comes in, he also probably has some nerves. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. I mean, you're probably settling in at this point. But also, I think that it can be very nerve-wracking to start something and not know what we're doing. But I feel like it might be equally, if not more so, nerve-wracking to jump into something that already has such a, because Ryan, you were a listener. And so coming into something that you've enjoyed has also got to be nerve-wracking, I assume.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far, but it has been sort of nerve-wracking because, like you said, I was a fan and a listener for many years, even before I joined the Patreon and the Discord group, where I've met a lot of nice, great people over the past couple of years. But you guys have run such a fantastic show, and I've really enjoyed listening to it, and it's fantastic to be asked to be a part of it now. So I think I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, but at the beginning it was hard. Still the nerves get me every once in a while, but I'm having a lot of fun, and it's great because I will talk. My friends and family will tell you I will talk Disneyland with anybody that gives me an opportunity. So to have some people that I can talk with like this is a good outlet for that energy, and I think maybe my friends and families won't have to listen to it quite as often,
or now they've got to listen to you talk about it, but also your podcast that you're a part of. So like that becomes another thing of like, oh, so now it's not just the park, but it's also this creative thing that you're part of. Okay, it's gotten worse somehow. And maybe you'll wrangle family members in like Teresa and I have over the years. But no, I'm really excited for where the podcast is going. One of the things I've realized through this transitional period is, and I've shared on a couple of our streams before, is that I'm really excited to be able to listen to DL Weekly as a listener and like to be able to get my Disneyland news and information from DL Weekly and not have to be the one of the people that puts it together every week, and I can just kind of enjoy that. So I'm very excited for that opportunity to be able to listen. And I told Teresa already, I said, you haven't gotten rid of me. We'll go to Disneyland again at some point. And I'm sure, Ryan, I'll see you I'm sure that because of how these types of trips works, you'll probably end up showing up at that too. And so, we'll all get together. Also, we have some plans to eventually come to Canada, and we'd like to visit you because you live up in Canada. So it'd be cool to do that when we visit Canada. We've got James and I have an Alaska cruise next year, and we might try to squeeze in some time to hang out with Ryan and your partner. So that'll be really fun.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. So our Disney story.
Yeah. I should have, in preparation, I'm just now sitting here realizing I should have re-listened to what my Disney story, like what at that moment in time, what I felt my Disney story was.
Well, what do you think it was up to that point now?
So I think, what do you mean? Like,
no, what I'm saying is
updated?
Knowing, so in this very moment, up until we started the podcast, what was your Disney story? How you feel it is today? Like, what I'm saying is, tell us your Disney story up until we started the podcast.
So what? Okay, so retell what I think my OG Disney story was. I really think that my Disney story was short and sweet. Ryan and I have been looking at some stuff, website included, and I have not looked at the website in a while. And like the About Us, I've looked at the website, but not the About Us section. And so even looking at the About Us section and seeing that like that version of Teresa only like put, I think there's like 3 or 4 sentences. It is a very short little About Us thing. Cause I remember being just like super nervous and very like, like are people going to take this, take us seriously? Are people going to listen? That sort of thing. So I am certain my Disney story was short and sweet. I probably talked about how I grew up in the Midwest in Wisconsin and really kind of had to look at Disney kind of from afar. Some of my first Disney memories, of course, are watching all of the Disney films. I remember my grandmother would get my brother and I the different VHSs like each year for Christmas and birthdays type things. That was our presents from her. So I remember watching so many Disney VHSs and probably like to the point of wearing some of them out. I still have those VHSs and I don't have a VHS player.
They're in the white. They're the ones that were in those big puffy white things. Yeah.
Yes. So that was it. And I also kind of have this really weird memory of, for some reason, we had a vacation planning VHS for Walt Disney World. And I remember watching that on repeat over and over again because I was just fascinated, even by things that terrified me, like the Haunted Mansion and the Tower of Terror, because, right, those were spooky. I just remember being just like totally just mesmerized by it. And I'm sure I've shared this on the podcast before, but my first actual Disney trip was to Walt Disney World. It was not actually to Disneyland. Disneyland I didn't get to go experience and enjoy until I was in 6th grade in the year 2000. So now you can do some math and figure out how old I am. But that was my first ever Disney trip. And like, it was kind of a slower start for me with the parks just because of where I lived. But then it was kind of just like, the more I learned and visited the parks, like the crazier this became for me as like being such a big part of my life. And now it's grown even exponentially since starting the podcast.
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of interesting because I think every child who is around our like age demographic had the same experience of watching the VHS, because that was during the Eisner era where he was like, the vault was back open and they would release, I think, like every 7 years, whatever movie that they were releasing at the time or whatever. And it was a big deal to get the VHSs. And then, because I don't even remember, our like local grocery store would sell them. Like, we'd be checking out like groceries and there'd be like a giant cardboard thing with a bunch of like Disney VHSs that you could buy. And I remember that. And I was like, that's interesting. And then when I don't even remember exactly. I was pretty young, single digits, let's say. And my mom took me and I can't remember if it was my oldest brother first or I think it was my middle brother first. And we got in our pickup truck and my mom drove us through. And I remember vividly things like she wore contacts. And contacts were a little different than they are now. And we would drive through Gilroy. Anybody who knows anything about California and driving down the 5 or whatever, Gilroy is like the garlic capital of at least California, if not the country. And I remember she would have to stop on the side of the road because her eyes were watering from all the garlic.
Oh.
And so she'd have to take a break and all of that. So anyway, so we got down there and, you know, my mom went through a vacation company and got the tickets, and we stayed at the Travelodge that is basically where like Guardians is now, basically, and there was like an IHOP in the parking lot and everything. And then we had the early entry breakfast. I just remember all these different things specifically about those early couple trips. I think the first time I visited was like the year before Splash Mountain opened, so I think they were like building that at the time. And then I remember coming home from that, and I built a model of the park based off the park map that I had taken in the kitchen. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm building Disneyland." And I made like a little Matterhorn and like a Main Street. And I had some speakers and I played park, you know, the CD we had gotten or whatever.
Oh,
and
I was
all
like,
of that.
how did you get park music at
Well,
that
because
point?
they would
But
sell
if you-
CDs
yeah, the
back
CD.
then. Well, actually, I think it was a cassette first, but
Sure.
then later it ended up being a CD. So anyway, so I did that. We wanted to go back. So my mom tried like every other year. So we went back again. I want to say right after Splash Mountain opened. And I had a terrifying experience with that because I was a very blind child. And my mom took my glasses off as we were going up the lift hill. And so not only do I not like heights anyway, and don't like at the time, especially did not like thrilling things, but then I could not see where I was going, and that's terrifying.
Terrible.
So we did that. My oldest brother, we went on a trip with as well. And so I was just really into the parks. Then that was like late 80s, early 90s. And then in the late 90s, we didn't go. We went for the 45th anniversary when Indiana Jones opened, and then we kind of didn't go for a few years. And the next time I went was when I bought my own ticket. And I went with my ex at the time. Well, it wasn't my ex at the time. It's my ex now, but whatever. And we went for like a graduation gift, and California Adventure just opened. And then I had a job, so I was able to buy an annual pass, and we could drive down from Northern California. So kind of did all of that. And then I moved to Wisconsin in 2007 and didn't go to Disneyland for 5 years. And then my friend Jay that I had made here, I took him to Disneyland because I was like, Disneyland's so great. And he got to experience it. And then at some point, Teresa and I found out that Teresa liked Disneyland.
I don't even know how that started. I
don't
just
know
have this
either.
distinct memory of we were watching Phantasmic for some reason.
I was probably showing you like a YouTube video or something.
Yeah. And like, that's the first time that I think you and I even like realized that the other person enjoyed Disney past just like the movies.
Yeah. So anyway, so that brings us up to the podcast. And so we'll continue there in a minute. So Ryan, what was your Disney story up to the podcast, which I guess will be kind of everything.
Everything. Well, I don't think I actually remember my first trip to Disneyland because I think I was pretty little when my parents had taken me because we recently my parents just recently had a lot of their old photos digitized by a company up here. And so we were going through some of them, and there was a bunch of them with me as a pretty little kid on the carousel and some other places. So we went a number of times when I was a kid. My grandparents in 1988 or 89, I guess it would have been, bought a condo in the Coachella Valley. So we went down to California a lot and always went over to Disneyland whenever we were down there. And then kind of got a bit older. I think grade 6 or grade 7 had been my last trip with my family because once, you get into high school, it's a bit harder to pull out of school for a few weeks at a time. And I didn't go for a long time. I was still a fan of the movies and whatnot, but hadn't gone in a long time. And my now husband at the time, his family decided to take us to California, and we decided to say we were going to go to Disneyland. My mother-in-law has family in California, so that was kind of like a family trip with a side bit over to Disneyland. And I kind of just bought in big time right from there. And so that's when I started going into all of the history of the parks and reading about everything, eventually leading me to finding podcasts. At the time when I found DLWeekly, I was looking for podcasts about Walt Disney World because we were planning our first trip to Walt Disney World. And I stumbled into DLWeekly at the same time and kind of just kept listening right from then until now.
Well, I don't know how searching for Disney World, how you found DLWeekly, but I'm glad you did. That's
the internet
for sure.
is a mysterious place.
I left out a very important part of the pre-podcast thing I just realized as I was listening to this. So for a while, a few years after I moved to Wisconsin, I worked for a local news station. And I started a YouTube channel called Disneyland Weekly. And I did kind of like a one-man video news show every week, trying to recreate some of the stuff we had at the news station because I thought it'd be like a fun challenge. And I love learning how to do new things and stuff like that. So I did that for about, I don't know, maybe not even a year. And video is a lot harder to do than audio. And so especially back in that time, like computers were not as fast and all of that. And so I stopped doing it, but then I wanted to revive it and I listened to a lot of podcasts. And so I had this crazy idea that I wanted to start a podcast, but all the podcasts I listened to had at least 2 people on it. So I was like, well, who can I get to do a Disneyland podcast with me? And that's what got me thinking about Teresa. She also likes Disneyland. So why not? She'd be the perfect person to kind of have this conversation with or whatnot. And so I remember going to Teresa and I remember telling James that I said, I'm going to ask Teresa about this. I don't think she's going to do it at all. And I went and asked, and I don't know why, but she said, sure, we'll give it a try. And I was like, I did not think that was going to happen. And so we set up kind of a little ramshackle couple computers in my basement. And we threw together, I think our first episode was less than 20 minutes or something like that.
It was short and sweet.
Yeah. And, that's kind of what we did. And we used at the very beginning, we used the same music and stuff that I used on that news thing because I had it already. And then after that, we started using the Fantasmic theme song. And then we got to a point where it was still called, the first iteration of the podcast was called Disneyland Weekly. And we knew that at some point we wanted to try to get on Disney's radar to get invited to stuff because, it's not impossible to do that. But we knew that it would not happen if we were using their name. And so we changed the name after, I don't even remember how many episodes, but we switched over to DL Weekly.
Which I remember we were calling it Disneyland Weekly, but I also remember shortening it to DL Weekly just because it was easier to say. So it was just kind of a little bit of a natural evolution.
Yeah.
I was just trying to look at YouTube. I cannot find your OG.
Oh, they're unlisted.
Archived? Okay.
They're unlisted. The other thing I just want to mention is I want to give a shout out to, I just had his name in my head and it just fell out of my head. But it was James's coworker at the time who created our logo, and he did an amazing job. He created, I think, like 3 or 4 variants, and they were pretty good. But then this one we saw and we were like, this is the logo that we want. He was
also very, very patient, because I remember telling him, like, I want a watercolor background, but kind of these got like this poor man. And I think he did this for like, beer, we bought him
like a 6-pack.
Like we bought him like a thing of beer. So like, and it's served us well all of these years.
Yeah. And what's been really great is it incorporates a lot of things that are kind of like things that we really like. So one of the things is like Teresa really likes like the teal color, and that's in the logo. By the way, his name was Jake Spear. So he did some side work. He was working with James at the university, and he did some side graphic work. But I don't know. I just think it was like such a perfect logo. Now, little behind the scenes, we've had some weirdness sometimes with it, because like apparently it's got, because of the castle in the ears, sometimes it's too close and people get nervous that it's too close to official Disney stuff. But Disney has never had a problem with it. And all the people that we know of.
Disney's never approached us about it.
But the people that we've talked to that work for Disney that don't do this, fair enough, has never said like, oh, that's a problem or anything. So anyway, but I wanted to give a shout out to Jake, because I think he did a really amazing job on the logo that we've used for like the entire time, basically, since starting. So
I was just trying to remember when the logo, if we had that the whole time or if we were doing something differently. But for me, 2017 was actually a really terrible year, and I will try to not get emotional because I know Tage does not like that. But
not that I don't like it, I'm just not good at helping people with their emotional.
But 2017 started off horrible for me. My best friend passed away completely unexpectedly, and I was having a very difficult time with that, as you can imagine. And I just kind of had a void. So I think I didn't even really think when you asked me to do the podcast, because I was just trying to fill that space, that I had in my heart for her, and just fill it with something else, so that I just wasn't sitting and just being really, really sad. Because she was just a very, very, you knew her. She was a very just amazing, amazing person. And she wasn't a Disney person, but she totally would have been like #1 fan of the podcast.
Yes.
No questions asked. She would have become a full-fledged Disney adult, because she was just incredible. But so I was just trying to, find something to focus on and spend some energy and passion on. And actually that's why Tuesdays were the night that we recorded, because that was the night that she and I always hung out. And so you and I had talked about that, and you were aware of that. And that's why Tuesdays, because that was to try and help me kind of move past that in my life. Mm-hmm. So it came into my life at the exact right time. And like I said, I think I didn't really think about it, because I needed to pour myself into something. And even though when you asked me, I was like, I don't think anyone's going to listen. I still still just jumped into it. Yeah. And even after, it's been almost 9 years, and it's still we're doing a live stream night now. And that just I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It's been 9 years. How am I not used to it at this point? It's just wild. But if you would have talked to Teresa in 2017 and asked, what do you think, what do you think's going to happen? I probably would have thought at best, maybe we would do the podcast for a year before it just kind of ran its course and fizzled out. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that it would have gotten the momentum and built, to what it is today. And even now, I feel like there's still a lot of momentum. Obviously, Ryan and I can talk about stuff are we good with where it is? Do we want to push and do more? Because it's become such a part of my life that it's so hard to separate. Maybe this is healthy, maybe this is unhealthy. I don't know. But it's kind of hard to think of my life without it at this point. So it's so I'm just always constantly excited about DLWeekly things, Disney events, all of those things. And yeah, that never would have happened if you wouldn't have had the wild idea and just randomly been like, wait a minute, Teresa and I bonded over Phantasmic one time, and we thought it was great that we knew the choreography of Mickey. Remember that?
Now, I do want to step back for a moment because I want to mention, so you were talking about your friend Cassidy.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that this is how amazing that she was. So when James and I got married, Cassidy made our wedding cake because she baked.
Yep.
And so she baked our wedding cake.
That was
and
fantastic.
it was, by the way, amazing, of course. And it was so funny because one of the things
she was also working at the wedding venue and was the event.
She really touched a lot of the stuff. And on that day, not only did she make the cake, but she was there like helping everything. I remember her fixing my tie and fixing James's. Anyway, she was very helpful and instrumental in all of that. And what was funny is if you've ever gotten married, one of the like traditional things is like people keep part of the cake for like a year or whatever. And she was like, you're not going to do that. She's like, don't do that. It's disgusting a year later. She's like, I will make you a new one a year from now or whatever. And unfortunately, like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But she was an amazing individual. And I worked with her we worked at the same Walmart together all at the same time. So like I knew her a little bit from work and obviously from being friends and stuff with Teresa. Also, to go with what you're talking about, like it becoming such a part of your life, which we'll get into a little bit too, is it's also become a part of a lot of other people's lives, you know? So it's not just us that has been impacted by this, but it's our listeners. I mean, Ryan, as someone who was a listener until recently, like, you know, it's impacted your life. You listened to it, like you've met people through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the community that you guys have built is just so fantastic. And I wish I had joined the Discord community earlier because it's just that the people that are in there, and like I can see people in the chat right now on this live stream. Like I would consider them friends now, and we've only met a couple of them once or twice. I've only met you guys in person just the one time. So it's really quite amazing that all of this brings people together like it has.
And you know what? Like Teresa was saying a little bit, I never fathomed that this is what it would grow into, that there's this community of people. I've talked numerous times. We have a supporter who's in our chat right now, actually, who communicated that like as an adult, it's harder to make friends. And so finding this community allowed her to find like her tribe of people. And she's made friends with other people in the community who are in potentially similar situations, and they've made trips down to Disneyland together, and they worked at a C's candy store together. And you know, and learning all of this about people, it's just like when I started, because I set up all the tech stuff right at the beginning, and Teresa had never listened to a podcast, and so I was trying to duplicate what other podcasts had done, and so we created a Patreon because like that's what other podcasts had done.
And I was like, what? No.
And originally, before Discord, our very first chat was actually a Skype, or not Skype.
Oh, that's right. What was it?
Slack. It was a Slack chat. And for the first, I don't know, like 6 months, we were in Slack, but it didn't integrate with Patreon. It was kind of complicated. So we ended up switching to Discord because there was that integration. And this is when Discord was actually still fairly new. And so
that's true. Most people didn't know what Discord was at that point.
And so I didn't think that this community would be a big part of it. I just thought it was going to be like, oh, it's a way to help us pay the bills for, you know, the hosting of the files and stuff like that. Like we'd scrape together enough pennies from supporters to cover our expenses, basically. But now the fact that like it's grown into this whole thing and it's provided so many opportunities, I think that's what we're going to talk about here for just fairly quickly, of like some of how our Disney story has gone since then. So I'll let you start since you.
Oh my! Our Disney story, like,
and it's still going.
I'm gonna speak for both of us. Has gone from like 0 to 600. Like we've surpassed, you know, right, 0 to 60 and whatever. No. We're like, it feels like it was like a rocket ship from what it was to what it is today. With just thinking back. I was actually having to look through like our old records of stuff in Notion because we've kept track of every single person that we've talked to, what episodes they were on, all that sort of things, and going through and looking at that list of all the different authors, artists, different people that worked for the Walt Disney Company, different people that worked like the company itself, like more, I don't want to say corporate, but like the non-park side, talking to all the people that were former cast members, former, like Imagineers, people that are currently at the company, being able to do
voice actors,
being able to do things like checked off so many different random Disney bucket list things. We were super fortunate and very gracious to have someone gift us a VIP tour, which never, like, in a million years did we think that that was something we would do. And that came through, like I said, a very kind and generous listeners that did that for us. We've gotten to go to Club 33 not once, but multiple times. Definitely never, like, I remember the point of my life when I was happy that I walked past Club 33 and the door opened and I could, like, see in. And I thought that was like, like, that was incredible. So, like, I still, to this day, it blows my mind that, like, I've gotten to be there and I own merch from there. Not only Club 33, but we've been to 1901 now too, which, again, never in a million years. I'm wearing, as we're doing this is the first set of ears I ever bought. I bought these when Vert and I went in 2018 for the first version
before
of
we
Pixar
ever
Fest.
did podcast trips. It was
Before we
out of
ever
our
did
own pocket.
Yep. So, oh yeah. Well, and like that was before a podcast trip because you and I hadn't even been together at that point in time. These are the first set of ears that I ever gotten. And like to think Teresa then was going back and forth on ears because, well, I just love so many of them. And I landed on these classic sequin ears because I was like, well, surely, you know, this $20 set, back when they were $20, this $20 set of ears, it's classic. I can wear it with anything. It's fine. Well, now fast forward to like, I should probably recount them again. I counted them recently, but it's over 50 different Disney branded ears, not to mention all of the ones that we've gotten from All Enchanting Ears and now Designer Park Co. So like the fact that I like spent so much time trying to debate on what, because I wanted a set of ears for multiple trips, but I just couldn't. I didn't want to have to pick just one, which clearly that's manifested and become a problem. I didn't pick. I thought at this point I had picked just one. I did not.
You're still picky.
Pick just one.
Like
I am still picky.
You're not like me who just like I need all of them.
You can't. There's too many of them at this point. At that point, I could have because they only had a handful at a time. Now it's
they knew. They're like,
we every couple minutes.
We could get her.
Yeah, and like it's just So just thinking of,
and now it's like a hallmark of you, like you in the parks is with ears.
I feel naked without ears now. And then like getting my first annual pass, which was the Flex Pass in 2019 when we went on our first trip. Same thing with like I didn't know and hadn't heard of even things like D23 living in the Midwest prior to the invention of the internet. So going like to Marceline. D23 was such a just like, whoa, there's this huge, ginormous convention all for Disney and Disney fans. Like, I gotta go. And then we learn about more things like the more intimate events like the Disneyana conventions and the Pacific Northwest Mouse Meet and going to places like Marceline, Missouri, kind of all these other things that are just, it's like the deeper you get into your Disney fandom, kind of the more of this kind of stuff you uncover. And again, back to our conversation earlier about how the internet can be such a terrible place. I just think it's awesome because without the internet, we wouldn't have learned of those things. And I think it's also super duper cool that now at this point, we've had folks on from these different events, from these different places that we can share with others how cool these places are and why they need to go to these events or these places to go have these wonderful experiences as well. So it's just, whenever I stop and like sit and think about what it is that we're doing with the podcast, it just like blows my mind. Really does.
And it's evolved, like we talked about earlier, it started with it was like under 20 minutes or whatever. And then, we've ballooned. We've had some episodes that are well over 2 hours, depending on what the discussion or whatever it was. We've added a lot of things. So in the beginning, it was just like we did news and we had a discussion. And a lot of times the discussion was like we'd pick some topic like the history of the Jungle Cruise. And so like that was the whole show. It was the little bit of news and then the history and then the show was over. And then we added in trivia. And then since then we've added in like SnackChat has been kind of something that we've added. Andy Mack, who does our character transitions, after we talked to him, like he was like, hey, he gets inspiration. He records a bunch of stuff that just sends it to us. And it's always wonderful. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that we did that, because when we originally talked to him about it, we're like, because there was a period of time where we had this like transition where the beginning of the show was like Main Street, and like as the show went through, like you'd go around Disneyland,
that's right.
and then like at the end of the show, it'd be like it's ended, it's normal operating day, go home, whatever. And so we had it like that for a while. But then Andy was doing such a good job at coming up with all these like off the wall, crazy, all over the place things that didn't fit into that were like, we can let go of this stringent kind of thing and let it go into just kind of being fun transitions. So there was all that type of stuff. Deanne in our chat right now is mentioning, we used to do a thing where when we didn't have a discussion topic, or we had a thing where
I think it was once a month.
We would draw a name from a weekly tier, and then they'd come on and be a guest.
Yeah, which, side note, we were doing that and then found out that there's like
frowned upon by
something,
Patreon.
Yeah, there's something within Patreon that says you're not supposed to do like giveaway things.
Yeah.
Like, oops. So that if anyone was ever wondering why that stopped, that was why we found out we were accidentally breaking the rules.
But we've done, we used to do a monthly feedback episode, and we'd read literally every single comment that anybody would send in, and we don't do that anymore. So it's just things have changed over the years, and we've tried to add more value for the listeners. We've tried to tweak things and make things. I mean, recently we've been trying to make some changes to make it just easier to produce, because we had kind of, as things compounded, it became more and more unwieldy and harder to do. So we could see that, like, not as of this very moment, but like if we, like, it was unsustainable to keep going for like years more at that level. And with Ryan coming on and Teresa kind of being the sole person who's been here since the beginning, there'll be more things changing and stuff, I'm sure. But always that soul, of course, is going to stay for the show, and of course, like the community and all of that. But it'll be interesting to see like how things evolve, because everything. I mean, the show has always evolved, and so, which I don't know, I think that's, you covered our Disney story of the podcast pretty well.
I covered my version of the Disney story.
Well,
do you have anything to add?
No, it's basically what you said, that like being able to go and experience things like Club 33, the fact that like we've had conversations and Michael Vargo and his wife recognize us, like when they see us out anywhere. Like I would never have thought those types of things would happen.
I never would have fathomed like going to the parks and having people stop me to say hi, or going to like the mouse meet. And it's kind of like a little bit of a, I don't know, like a reunion of sorts, because it's people that we've made all these connections with that also have a deep love for Disney, the parks, etc., that are also attending these events. And so being able to kind of go and connect with all these people in person, it's really the connections and the people that is the most incredible part about this whole experience. Because really it's just a couple of nerds talking about Disneyland into microphones and hoping that people on the internet find it. So I just feel so incredibly fortunate that so many people have found it, and that it resonates, and it brings a lot of joy and a lot of magic to a lot of people, which again is not something that we kind of ever intended to do. It just kind of organically happened, and it's just that's the most special piece about this whole thing.
Yeah, and so I think that leads into this next part, which is good. So, everything evolves. The podcast evolves. So my Disney story over the time we've done the podcast, in the very beginning, I was doing all the editing. I managed the website. I was dealing with where we host all the files, like all the tech stuff. And Teresa was doing like social media and getting interviews and stuff. And like, so we had like our kind of like silos of stuff that we were good at,
business side of stuff.
Yeah, so there's all that stuff. So we all kind of split that. But as time went on, I found, as my life changed and I got like a full-time teaching job, which some terms are, Ryan, this, some terms are very busy and you just don't have room for a lot of things. But the podcast had to go on every single week. So a few years ago, I offloaded my editing to our editor, Sidel. Well, actually, it was Sam, an editor, Sam first.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. When did that like 4 years ago?
Something like that. And so Sam did it. And then Sam got a promotion at his daytime job. So we got Sidel, and Sidel has been doing it since then. And
fantastic.
So,
I love Sidel.
And so that took some stuff off my plate, which kind of relieved some of that pressure. But then, like, as time has gone on, which kind of comes to the reason of me leaving the podcast, is like, I wanted more of that. And I offloaded kind of everything like that I felt like I could offload without like literally making Teresa do everything, and that wouldn't be fair to Teresa to have her kind of do everything, because she also has a daytime job that she has to be at. So it's not like she's just sitting around doing DL Weekly stuff all the time. And I kind of just wanted to do less. So one of the other jobs I have other than teaching is I also have an IT consulting business, and I had clients that needed help from me and stuff like that. And I just kind of wanted to like I just wanted to have my life simplified. So people that have heard this already have said, yo, I'm excited to see what you're doing next. Well, I'm not doing anything next. I'm trying to simplify my life. So the reason I'm leaving the podcast is like, I just want to simplify my life a little bit more, and being anchored to Tuesday nights having to be here, or even like when we do interviews, we do it on different nights, and having our streams and then trips to Disneyland, all these like first world problems that people would be like, I'd love to be in your position. So that, leaving the community, and like Teresa was saying, like the how much this has brought to all of us and how many cool experiences we had. Teresa, when I mentioned that when I told her I wanted to leave, was having a hard time, and you can correct me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but like couldn't understand really like, why would I want to leave this amazing thing we've created? Because like we've made so many great connections with people. We have such great friends. We have so much fun with it. Why would I want to leave that? And like, that's the part of it that I didn't want to leave. Like, that's the fun part, the great thing that's still there. But I could also still be a member of the community. I could still be a listener. I could still support. I could still be in the Discord chat and still get all of that, but not have to be like, okay, it's Tuesday, it's 7:00. It's time to do the podcast. It's during the day on Tuesday. It's time to go write the script. Okay, it's Thursday. We got to record this interview, or I would like to take a trip somewhere, but we need to do a Disney trip and whatever. So all of those things together kind of culminated in that, and anybody who knows me, Teresa's known me for a long, long time before the podcast. Like, I don't stick with like anything. So the fact that I've done this for 9 years is kind of like, this is probably a record for some project that I've started and kept going for so long. And so I'm really happy and excited that Teresa decided to keep doing the podcast, which is what I really wanted her to do, because I knew how much she liked it. I'm so glad that she found Ryan to co-host with her. And I think the community and the show and the future is bright with the two of you guys doing it. And I still will be around if you need help with anything. I just won't be here recording every single week and talking directly into a microphone. I might show up at some point in the future, who knows? But like, if Teresa needs tech help or anything like that, I'm still here to help her out with that. I'm not abandoning the podcast by any means. Again, just not on the show actively every single week. So I would just like to say I have loved all 9 years that we've done this. Teresa and I's friendship has grown so much closer since we started doing this. I've seen Teresa happier than I've ever seen anybody when we're at Disneyland and something awesome happens and excitement, or even doing the show and some cool announcement happens. And I'm sure you've all heard that through the microphone as well. So I'm excited to continue to experience that, just not through being on the show. And I'll be in the park again, and I'll be in the park with Teresa again at some point too, but again, not connected with the podcast at that level. So it's been really, really great. I would not trade the 9 years we've done this for anything. All the experiences we've had, all the friends we've made, and all of that. I value all of that. And as somebody who has a hard time saying stuff like this, just know that like it does mean quite a bit to me. So that's all I have to say about that, I guess.
I don't know what else there's to say. I feel like that kind of was a good wrap on this, your final official episode as part
450.
I know, as part of the DL Weekly crew and team. Yeah, I'm so excited, and I know Ryan is too, to kind of see where this next chapter takes us. Again, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We appreciate your support and patience and cheerleading and all of the above through this transition, because we know like that this is this is a difficult thing, because Tage and I have been in a lot of your lives for these 9 years, and so it may be it's hard. I know I had a hard time trying to wrap my head around it, so I'm sure other people are having a hard time wrapping their heads around it too. But yeah, so we just wanted to that was the other reason. If you just have tuned in, we did try and make this very kind of clear and give everyone a lot of time and space to kind of sit in this for a little bit. So Tage had told me months ago that he wanted to transition. He gave me a lot of time and space to kind of process and figure out what we were going to be doing next and make sure that I felt like solid before we kind of did the next phase, which was transitioning him out. And I told him that we were going to have what I've jokingly called his farewell tour, which started, I want to say July 13th or 14th was when he first made the announcement, first to our Discord community and then to the Patreon community. And then that next week we had 4 episodes where the greater community knew that, that this was kind of the final 4, and now we've reached the final. So it's just, it's weird because it's not real. Like, in my mind, I know it's the last episode, but it's just become such a part of our routine that it's gonna be weird for a while that you're not like coming over on Tuesdays and all that. So it's just right, but everything takes time.
I'm just gonna mess with you, and like next week, I'm just gonna show up. And you're gonna be like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "I brought dinner. It's my week for dinner, right?" Yeah. And you're gonna be like, "What?" That would be kind of funny for me to do.
Vern will be there by himself because Teresa will be in.
That's true.
Disneyland.
You're just gonna be showing up to
myself.
Yeah, you'd punk yourself. Joke's on you.
I am very excited though. I am so happy. It just happened to work out this way because before we knew all of that we had landed where we have.
At that point we knew that you didn't want to continue with the podcast when D23 was announced.
But you didn't know that Ryan was going to be...
I didn't know that Ryan was even in the running for being the next host because I just hadn't thought that far ahead at that point.
I would just like to say, I think it was meant to be because they bought tickets for the Honda Center together, and it all just kind of worked out.
We were going to be solo D23 buddies together. We're like, you know what? We should just do this together because we're both going solo. Why not?
But I will say, Ryan... I'm joking when I say this, by the way. I just want to put this out there before I even say it.
No.
But Ryan, if you really want to make Teresa happy, when you guys travel to the parks together, you will have to fly here first and then fly with Teresa because she loves flying with someone. She doesn't want to travel alone very well. So that was also a perk, was because we traveled well together. So there you go. Teresa's like, why? Always these random things you say.
Yep, exactly.
But no, I think things are going to be great. And like I said, I'll still be in the no. Well, now I got to find out if I'm going to if Teresa I think I'm going to support financially the podcast. So I'll be legit in the chat and not just somebody who's just there because I started it.
You're just doing that so I don't have a reason to kick you out. Be like, I paid to be here.
I mean, that wouldn't be the only person that pays and isn't part of the chat. Yeah. So again, thank you everybody for your wonderful, kind words and all of that. And I look forward to listening to your trip recap of D23 when you guys get back and hear how amazing it is. And Teresa said that I couldn't remember what I wanted from D23 earlier. She's like, is there any merch you wanted? And I couldn't remember. And she's like, well, I guess that means you don't need it.
There was a whole list, and I couldn't remember what the whole list was. I was like, what did you want? Oh, I don't remember. I'm like, guess you don't need it then.
Too bad for you. So, yeah. Well, if you enjoy listening to the show, please consider rating and reviewing the show on your podcast app of choice. It helps other Disney fans become weekly tiers and part of the community.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Well, welcome back. You're still here. I'm glad.
Not for long.
This is where I'm going to retire. So that's how it goes. 5 questions for you this week. 5 answers coming up. I'd say we're going to learn things, but we didn't remember what we learned last time in some of this situation. So we're going to try again. First question I had for you was in the 1997 refurbishment of Pirates. They recast one of the pirates. What was he called? And what's his name now? The 2 names were the Pooped Pirate,
and
the Gluttonous Pirate.
Well, okay, which pirate is this?
Gluttonous. Like he's eating a lot?
Means eating a lot. Yep.
Which one? Where is this?
In the U.S. version only.
Yeah, but where in the attraction, James?
I don't remember. There was a nice picture of him.
Gluttonous pirate.
Gluttonous. The fun fact while you were looking this pirate up that I had written was they also replaced a woman hiding in a barrel with a cat.
So he's the pirate that has the key and the map next to Jack, who's in the barrel. I did not know that was his name, was the gluttonous pirate.
Well, it's probably different because now he's like the map pirate or whatever.
Oh, look, way back when he was eating.
Yeah, he had food. There was a pig there. Yeah.
Poor pig. Pig's sitting there as he's like gnawing on. Hopefully that's not a ham bone.
That looks like a drumstick.
Yeah.
Oh, then was that before?
I don't know. Yeah, then at some point there was a woman hiding in the barrel from him.
And now
he's gone through.
He's got the lace.
Yeah, he's gone through many changes.
Oh, it was probably the lace until they changed it to then he was chasing food, and so they put food in his hand.
That could
Remember when they did all that?
But I wonder what was popping out of the. Let's see.
The barrel with the food. Did they take the barrel away?
I don't know because there's not.
I don't see.
Yeah, maybe there wasn't a barrel.
There doesn't look like there is a barrel.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Good stuff. My second question for you this week was how many times a day during a 16-hour operating day would you hear It's a Small World play? You all think that song goes on for a really long time. Spoiler, does not.
Oh.
It is short. So short that in a 16-hour day, you'd listen to it 1,200 times.
Whoa.
I would just like to say that the It's a Small World track that is on the thing I have, the track is 5 minutes long.
Yep. Just loops and loops and loops.
Yeah.
But that's not the actual playtime of the song.
Okay.
I guess the original song was only 2 short verses and a short chorus, so
it moved.
And this question is probably longer or like less times now because they added that new verse.
They added the final verse. That's right.
Yeah.
That would go on longer.
But that's only in the final room, I think.
Mm-hmm,
wow. Okay, so that means it's 75 times an hour. So it's, definitely less than a minute long. That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right, third question for you was rumors say Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen body is housed in what attraction? Congratulations, Tage and Teresa. It's a Small World was the answer I was looking for.
Woohoo.
Good try, Ryan. I like you being different.
I just tried something else.
Yeah, you never know. And, maybe that is the right answer. Maybe Walt is actually in the castle.
Down there.
Or he's buried in Forest Lawn Cemetery.
I mean, if you don't want to have the whimsy of what if, sure. All right. Fourth question was, what is believed to be the most vomit-inducing ride? Last time you got this wrong. This time you got it right.
What did we say last time? Do you remember?
I didn't document that in the past.
Not the teacups.
We probably made up something because we didn't think, we thought the teacups were too obvious, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we were overthinking and
or else
did
you were just
Star Tours or Space Mountain. Or,
oh, yeah.
Or maybe we're talking about the Pal Around.
Which,
I mean, that's what makes me sick.
Genuinely a good guess would have been that Pal Around for sure. So they got the bags on the Pal Around, or at least they did. So, all right. Final question for you all was, what order does the side of your vehicle pass the characters in the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh? Very careful not to say which character do you see first, because that would depend where you're looking. And I only want so much bias in Trivia Land. So the answer I was looking for is not the answer you gave me, just to be abundantly clear. Kanga and Roo are the first. You are correct with that. But the next character we see and drive past is Pooh Bear, followed by Gopher, Eeyore, Piglet, Owl, Tigger, then Rabbit.
Yeah, we got all over the place.
Yeah.
Tigger before Rabbit. Wow.
Yep, Tigger shows up in the outside of the bush just before you pass into Rabbit's house, basically, is the Tigger first appearance.
We totally forgot. I'm watching a video of it. We totally forgot Pooh with his balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Oh, there's Owl. Owl is in that first room.
Yep. Owl shows up early, and then you got all the people tugging.
Oh my
Piglet,
gosh.
the umbrella.
Pooh was in there twice in the first section, because there he is stuck in the honey pot. Failed,
it is the Pooh attraction.
Failed.
It just makes sense that you get a lot. So, well, The era of Trivia Land continues. Producer Vern has plenty of ideas and is always going to be seeking questions from you all. And I'm sure I'm going to make some appearances. Don't you worry. I'll come up with things, or you'll just hear my name from Producer Vern. Who knows? But either way, join the list of sending trivia questions here to DL Weekly. Stump Teresa and Ryan. We have a reputation to uphold. Just go to our website, dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast, Andy Mack for all the wonderful character transitions, and to James D. and Aaron C. for supporting the Club 33 level, and for all of you for welcoming all of us into your lives. And a nice sign off for everybody. Thanks for listening.
I am the podcast that flaps in the night. I am Tage and Teresa's tangent that takes you down the rabbit hole. I am DL Weekly.